everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got one of my neighbors' 2003 Hyundai Elantra. You know, it's their beat-around car. Anyway, they broke the outside door handle, so obviously it's a pain in the neck to get into, so they want me to replace it. So that's what we're going to do. Let me show you what we got. So right here, obviously it's supposed to look something like that, but it doesn't. So I got the door open. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting that aftermarket door handle on here, but we have to get this door panel off first. So we're going to start with taking these screws out and then de-trimming this door panel. I'm not quite sure, I've never taken one off. We're going to see what's involved. So let's get going. Now let's see how this works. Put you on my tripod here. So we're going to take out these screws. These are Phillips head. There's going to be two right here. And now there's one over here. Okay, so that screw kind of fell out. So you just slide that out, as you saw. That really wasn't terrible. I'm running my fingers along the edge of the door panel to feel for possibly any screws. And I can feel a screw down below here. There's one here because I can't even see it. I'm still dealing with the knee issue, so bending over to a certain degree is a bit of a struggle. So that's one. There's another one here. You can see that. And then I know there's two on the outer edge all the way over here. Let me just move you. I don't know if you noticed it, but this car is wrecked in the front, but it's just his beat-around car for around town. Because otherwise he has a pickup truck, which hopefully I'll be working on that soon. Because this pickup truck is, I believe, a 1965 Chevy C10 with a 454 in it, and it's been hot rodded up a bit. So, but he says he wants me to work on that, so we'll see. He also has a couple of Corvettes, you know, like 93-ish body style. I don't know what C4, I don't know what they are. And he's also got a 65, I think it is, 65, 64 Nova. It's actually a four-door, and he used to street race it back in the day, and it's got a built small block in it with a mini tubbed rear end and everything else. The thing's pretty cool. He wants me to work on that too. The car got wrecked and it sat for quite a long time, but he got it running again. He wants me to try to figure stuff out with it. So we'll see. All right, let's see what else is involved in getting this panel off. Let's see. How are you witnessing this? I guess okay. Oh, there's actually, okay, there is a screw in there. Normally, wherever the pull handle is, you're going to find a screw somewhere in that area, usually. Not all the time. Got that one. And, oh, there is actually another one over here. This one actually has a cover on it. I can feel it. At least I think I feel it. Yeah. See that? So then there's another screw in there. Quite a few screws holding this panel in. Alright, so that one's out. They're all roughly about the same size. Okay, there was one push clip over by the speaker grill. Okay, I gotta pop this upper trim piece off. I don't know if you saw that. Can you see that? Let's see. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what you can and cannot see. Let me move you to this point. Alright, so this upper trim piece that just popped right off. Alright, I'm not quite sure about the actual switch plate. What I'm doing is I'm reaching around the door panel, trying to see if there's any tabs. And I believe there is. Kind of what I can feel. There it goes. Okay. So now with that, I can actually unplug the window harness, and actually the locking tab is already broken off of that. Now I know there's an electrical connector down below here. I don't know if you're going to see that. Let's see. Here, this is for the reflector light that's in the door panel itself. That is right there. Alright. So now, we have to take the water shield out of the way. This is the water shield. And it's kind of hot today, so this is probably going to be gooey and sticky. I had to venture a guess. And, yep, it's not disappointing. Gooey and sticky. So now, the handle is just on the inside there. Get you down even further. Okay, so you see it right there? So there's a 10 here. And then there's going to be some kind of linkage on the inside that's going to have to come off. And I can see the lock rod is right there. And then there's another rod all the way inside. Now the problem is, in order to get that lock rod off, let's see. Yeah, you can see the lock rod and you can see the actual actuator there for when you actually pull the handle. That's the yellow up top. That's the lock rod down there. So I got to disconnect them. You see where the opening is facing towards me? You push on that, like you spread it open and you push on that, and then it releases from the rod, and then the rod slides out at the top. At the top is basically like a 90-degree turn where it goes into the piece. So I'm not going to be able to film it, but let me try to pop it and then show you. Problem too is it's so bright out here, I hope this video is coming out. Okay. Get in there. And there, you see how I pushed it out of the way now? So now that lock rod will come out. See that? It's just laying there. So I got to do the same with the other rod, and then as you can see behind the other rod's another 10, and that 10 you can access through this hole here, I believe. So all right, let me get to doing that. Let me get you set up here again. I like this new tripod a lot. Very similar to the one that I had at the shop. It's by a company called Jolican, I think it is. Jollycan, something like that. I tell you what, it's a world better than that other one that I had. That thing was a piece of junk. Basically done all by feel, so now I'm not quite sure. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it released. Let's see. Push back in the door here, and there you can see it released. So now let me go get a 10. So I can actually take that handle off of there. Hang on one second. Alright, so let me shut this light off so I just don't waste it. I'm going to go in through the side here. Yep, I'm on that 10. Bolt for that. Come over here. I tell you what, when the sun came out, it got hot. Woo! So right now, it's hot. All right, so now this remainder of this door handle. Should come out, I would think. Tell you what, if I didn't want it to come out, it would fall right out. Oh, this might be a situation where I wonder if sometimes you actually have to have the door handle like pulled in order to release. Come on. Okay. What am I missing here? What am I missing here? Just to see that bottom edge right there? It's just that really holding it in. I wonder if I just gotta use like a door panel trim tool from the outside. And that's it. I just used door panel trim tool from the outside. Maybe it's not all that you gotta do. I wonder if I gotta pull the lock cylinder out. Now let me get my fat head in there, see if I can't figure out what's going on. Hang on a minute. Okay, so as I was putting pressure on it, all of a sudden the lock cylinder itself popped out, and now this popped out. So, not quite sure what the story is with that. Oh, I see it. There's a tab that's supposed to be here that locks this in place. So this will go in like this, turn over, and then this gets held in by that upper bolt. Okay. Well, it makes sense now. Now, anytime I take things like this off, since I'm going to be replacing this, if I get new ones of these clips, I always save these clips because you never know when they come in handy. All right, let's open up the new one. In case you want to see it for any reason, that's for the driver's side. And yeah, just like I thought, the new one, you can see the plastic there to hold the lock cylinder in place. Alright. Alright, it's a weird thing. My phone overheated. I've never had that happen before. I mean, it's hot out here. I didn't think that was going to happen. Alright, so let's install this new door handle. And like I was showing you, it does have the little piece there for the lock to actually insert into. Make sure the gasket is sitting flush where it needs to be. That is a gasket on the outside edge there, and it goes along these tabs. So let me pull off this protective little coating here and watch me drop it on the floor afterwards, right? No, okay. So now let me put you in the holder. Sounds like my neighbor's having a party. This is my other neighbor's car. So now we're going to insert this like such. At least I think I'm going to insert it like such. Sometimes aftermarket does fit a bit hokey, so you have to remember that when you're using aftermarket stuff. Sometimes you can't get it to fit exactly the way you want it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch the one bolt that went towards this end here. I'm going to catch that one first. I'm just on the inside here lining up the bolt holes. And then, of course, there it is again, dealing with aftermarket. You gotta make sure everything's lining up. And it doesn't want to. Why not? It looks like it's lined up from my end. I have had before where stuff like this came through with no threads in it. Alright, I think I caught that. So I'm not sure what you're looking at there. You're looking at the edge of the door. So I'm going to take this from the back side. And it is actually struggling to screw in. Alright, it's struggling to screw in, so hold on a second. Let's take this off. And let's see what's going on here. Because sometimes, I mean, it screws in fine into this one. I apologize for the music in the background. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, and it's having a difficult time there, and that one, I don't know why. I do not want to go absolutely nuts screwing it in. This is the one for this side, I believe, because it's a little bit longer. At least I think it's a little bit longer. Yeah, it's a touch. It is a touch longer. I'm sorry if you couldn't see that before. I know I sometimes forget to look in the camera. See it all? And of course, I do not have a tap and die set here at home. I need to get one of those. All right, so when you're dealing with something like this, where it doesn't go in smoothly, usually what I will do is I'm going to put some lube on here, and I'm going to thread it in till it stops, go a hair more, and then back it out. Thread it until it stops, go a hair more, back it out. Usually you could do that, and you get them to sit better. So let me do that, and I'll get right back here. All right, so there we go. What it was is there's actually some glue or something, like from when they, I don't know if they used any kind of a glue or if it was a hot press or whatever, but this metal bushing that goes in there, that threaded bushing, some of the plastic was out on there, and you can actually see some of it on the bolt. But I had kept running it in and out and just cleaning it off with my nail. Just like that. But now it goes in all the way. So now, get that screwed down. Now what I have to do is I have to get that lock in place. I don't know how in the world I'm going to show you this, if I even can, because I don't know how in the world I can. The problem too is this tripod only has so many different angles that I can use to achieve what I need to achieve. So now the lock cylinder is going to go in. I'll stick my finger through the hole a little bit. You can see it there. Get the lock cylinder through, and then hopefully that's lined up. I think it is. So now let me catch the bolt for that. Obviously, this is getting to a point where I can't really show you anything because I gotta have my hands in there and everything else, but I'll show you from the outside. Okay, so I thought I was actually filming and I wasn't, but there's the handle in place. That's how it's gonna look. And I got it bolted up and I got the rods in place. Let me turn my light on. Insert you in the door. And there you can see the rods are in place. See that? And those two 10s are tight. So now this should work. Now, here's a little trick that you should really consider doing. Whenever you're working on a door, always do this. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen people be like, dang it, I forgot to hook up the rod, or the rod fell off in another spot and I never checked it beforehand. Do this. All right. Oops, sorry. Back up here. This is your latch right here. This is what, when you close the door, that's what latches. So now inside handle releases it. Outside handle releases it. Okay, so we know we are good. All right, so now reverse procedure to install. This car also had a problem with a misfire. I did not make a video on it because I'm kind of struggling to try to figure out exactly what's going wrong with it. It's an 03, so the information on the scanner is not very good. It doesn't give you misfire data. It just says, hey, you got a misfire. And this has 2 coils. So what I wound up doing was, it only has 2 coils for 4 cylinders. So it has what's called a waste spark ignition. I'll get into that at another point in time. But what I wound up doing was I wound up taking the coil wires for 1 and 4, which share the same coil. 1 and 4 fire at the same time. It fires on the ignition stroke, or basically the power stroke, when it's supposed to fire and create the combustion. It fires during that, but it also fires at the top of the exhaust stroke. So basically they fire exactly the same time, so it's 2 sparks per 4 strokes. Yeah, so let's just see here. Oh, I just realized the power mirrors were never hooked up to the connector. Now usually on a door panel you got to tuck this top seal in first in order to get everything else in place. So there, that's all in place. Let me hook these connectors up. I hope I'm filming, I'm not even sure. Now remember that one connector was actually broken. Or no, maybe this was connected and I just disconnected it and I'm just brain dead and forgot I did, which is always a possibility. Hello, McFly. Why are you not going in the way you're supposed to go in? Why is this thing fighting me? I'm not going in the way it's supposed to go. Oh, maybe it didn't go in because maybe this is a different connector? Is that possible? Yeah, this is not right. Maybe this wasn't connected because, yeah, this connector does not work. So this switch is from something else. Interesting. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. Not of paramount concern, that's for sure. Yeah, so let's start putting all our screws back in. Now I know the larger ones, pay attention too, because I'm assuming you can see what I'm doing, right? Let me go back to the camera, yeah. If you could see, this screw is larger than this screw, thicker diameter. There's only 2 of these. These 2 larger screws went in here for the handle. Because if you think about it, that's where the most strain is on the door panel. And of course, it's not lining up like I was hoping it would. I don't know why. No, it's not lining up. Okay, hang on. Sometimes you gotta jiggle things around a bit to make stuff line up. Yes, no, maybe so, no. Alright, I'm going to struggle with this one for a minute. Let me get something to kneel on so I can look directly in that hole and try to see what I'm missing. Hang on. Alright, let's see. If I can see what's going on here and why this is not lining up. I'm not quite sure what I'm missing here, but I'm missing something. All right, that might be it. Let's see if I can get this screw in now. There it goes. Alright, so sometimes you just gotta mess with it. Nope, that wasn't me, that was the seat up against the car. I know it might sound like it, but it wasn't me. I'd admit it if it was me. Alright. Put this screw in over here. All right. And it's going in, but it's not tightening up, so the plastic is probably stripped out. But it's in about as far as it'll go. We can drop in this piece here. Alright, so that's where it needs to be. Let me put this cap back in here. We're going to put the trim piece back up in here. Put the screw up here. Oh, maybe not. Wrong screw. This was a long screw, if I remember, or a longer screw, I should say. Which I think was this one. Yep, there we go. And same thing, the plastic is kind of stripped, so you just get it as tight as you can or feel it at the best tension spot possible. Alright, so 2 screws there. And you can see, I hope you can see that on the screw, that it's got the plastic from the little edges, or the little plastic pieces on the inside that these things screw into, telling you that these are also stripped out. Somebody probably tightened them with a gun, or they just went all Incredible Hulk on it. And tightened it. You should have gotten a nice view of my cranium on that one. Okay. So now all we got left are the 2 lower panel screws. There's one. And there's another. Okay, so that's pretty much done. And I gotta sneeze it. Woo! Excuse me. All right, let me start this thing up. Send window down. Alright. So I am good with that. That's how it's going to fit. Alright. So, hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you're good, please subscribe. Alright guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.